Our world is obsessed with how fast we can do things. Who wins, who loses, scores, competition, all this stuff. And I want to tell you a phrase that has meant so much to me over the past couple of years as I have grown. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Frankly, I was obsessed with going fast. I wanted to go fast, and I figured out the best way to do it was alone. In college, I hated group projects because nobody could keep up with me. That's what I told myself anyway, and I made it in such a way that people couldn't keep up with me unless it was a group project that I wasn't interested in. Then I didn't even want to try because I didn't know how to work with people. I didn't know how to figure out a speed that worked for everybody to go further together. It was either my way or it was not my way. I was either doing the project or I was barely involved in the project. There was no middle ground. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. I didn't understand the concept of going far together. In fact, I remember specifically when I was at Clemson, a project that I was working on. It was me and another guy. His name is Gerard. And I remember I just took off on the project on my own. I decided that Gerard couldn't keep up with me. And I remember I ran into a problem, and I was showing Gerard and my professor, Tim, what my problem was. And I remember sitting there clicking so fast through the software that we were using. And I remember they both were like lost. And I was proud of the fact that they were lost. Because you know why? I had gone faster than them. I had figured it out faster than them. I even knew more about the software than my professor. And that made me proud. Not that I knew more, but that I could confuse him. It meant I was smarter. It meant I was better. That's the story I told myself anyway. I was obsessed with going fast and going alone. And when my professor said, well, slow down, Derek. We're not even following you. There was a sense of pride that welled up in my heart. I said, I'm going faster than you. You can't keep up with me. I'm better than you. That was a problem. That's extremely prideful. I didn't understand teamwork. I didn't know how to work in a team very well. I didn't know how to communicate in a team very well. And so I just resorted to going fast alone. Out of college, I worked for a consulting company, and they had a leaderboard of who had the most billable hours for the week, for the month. And I figured out the best way to do this was just to work on my own, just to get a project from a project manager and not work on a team, because the team would slow me down. Being on a team would affect my billable hours. So I took the project and I'd go. I got promoted to be a project manager at that company, and it fell apart. I mean, my projects fell apart because I didn't know how to communicate. I didn't know how to slow down and communicate to the people who are on my team how to work on a project with me. I didn't know how to work with me. I just knew how to go. And this phrase, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together, I heard it's probably 3 years ago or so. And specifically over the last 3 years, it's been about starting to go slower, to work together with other people, to be partners with other people, to work on a team together, to take the time to choose a common goal, choose a path and a strategy that uses everybody's strengths, and go for that together. And I find it interesting, even as I'm talking about it, when I was talking about going fast, I just noticed this now, I was talking fast. Because that's what I was. I was going fast. It was frenetic. It was hectic. I felt chaotic inside. I was going fast. I needed to get somewhere fast to prove to people that I could do it better than they could, because that meant that I was better than them. I was smarter than them. And that's really all that I cared about, was that people knew that I was smarter and better than them. Was I? I think God gave me a gift, of an intellectual gift. I want to use that to the best of my ability, but my goal now is not to prove to people I'm smarter than them, but that used to be my goal. It doesn't serve me anymore. And so then when I started talking about going slow together, to go far, my speech settled down. That wasn't on purpose. I just happened to notice that and reflecting on that now, just talking through it. You know, it occurs to me, we talk about, well, how old, you know, when somebody's a toddler. Well, they were walking at 10 months. Oh, you know, and you see a parent whose kid is, 12 or 13 months old and they're not walking yet. And They're not walking yet. And it seems we start comparing toddlers. How soon are they going to walk? It doesn't matter. By 18 months, they're all going to be walking, and we're all going to wish that they weren't walking. And then they were an early talker. They started talking at 14 months. It doesn't matter. By the time they're 2, maybe 3, my son didn't really start talking much until he was 2.5. And the moment he started talking, it was full sentences. And sometimes we wish we would go back to when he wasn't talking. But we tend to compare, when are they walking? When are they talking? Really, if you just give it enough time, they're all going to be walking. They're all going to be talking. And we do this in life. It's like, wow, I got to 6 figures in my business in 2 years. I haven't made it to 6 figures in my business yet, and it's been 5 years. Doesn't matter. Given enough time, you'll either make it at 6 figures or you won't. That's not the be all and end all. But we tend to think time is our enemy when really time is our friend. I want to share a story with you about time being our friend. It took me 5 years to get through high school. It took me 5 years to get my bachelor's degree. So I was 2 years older graduating with the people who just went straight through high school and straight into college. But here's why that was so critical in my life. When I graduated from high school, so I was already a year older when I was graduating from high school, I wanted to go to Bob Jones. That's where I wanted to go. And my parents said, I don't want you to go to Bob Jones right away. I want you to go to this small Bible college first. And I was very rebellious inside. On the outside, I was a good kid. I think a pretty good kid. But on the inside, I was completely rebellious. Did not want to go to this school at all, this college. But in a moment of wisdom that I'm sure came from God, I decided to respect my parents' wishes and go to this Bible college for my first year. And do you know that I went to that Bible college and I decided I was going to have the best time that I could in that Bible college. And I certainly didn't enjoy the whole thing, but I had fun. I decided to have a good time there as much as I could. And then I went to Bob Jones a year later than I wanted to. But do you know that I was in chemistry my freshman year at Bob Jones, sitting next to somebody who was in a study group with somebody else who was a roommate to Katie, who's now my wife. And do you know that I would not have met Katie by sitting in that seat my freshman year at Bob Jones if I had graduated from college a year earlier on time? And I would not have been in that seat in that class with those classmates who was a roommate of Katie's that year if I had not gone to Bible college for a year. You see, we think time is our enemy and we got to catch up and get frantic about not letting the time get away from us. When in my case, if I had not taken 2 extra years to get to my freshman chemistry class in college at Bob Jones, I wouldn't have met Katie. And let me tell you, I hit the jackpot when it came to my wife. I'm incredibly grateful that I met her, but I never would have met her had I not taken 2 extra years to get to my freshman year of college at Bob Jones. Time is not our enemy. It's only our enemy if we fight against it. What if we say that time is our friend? What if we lean into the idea that life is not a rat race, but life is an opportunity to slow down, to enjoy the journey of getting there, to enjoy the journey of not even getting there, but just enjoy the journey. So often we are fascinated with this idea about winning. And I'll make a bold statement, and I know some people aren't going to agree with me. It's not all about winning. It's not all about winning championships. Because you find me a team that's won a championship, they've done an incredible job. The next year, they probably won't win the championship. It's not all about winning. Winning is not the epitome of achievement. The epitome of achievement is showing up every day. The epitome of achievement is having a losing season and showing up the next year to continue playing. All 3 of my kids today were in a spelling bee at school. That's a really cool thing. They made it in the top 4 spellers of each of their grades, and they made it to the spelling bee in their elementary school at Covenant. And my wife gave him a pep talk last night. And here's how the pep talk went. It went like this. When you get out I want you to walk off that platform with your head held high, knowing you did your best. And I looked at her and I said, what? What do you mean when you get out? What kind of pep talk is this? And she said, let's face it, let's be real. They're probably going to get out. There's only going to be one winner. There's 24 kids in the spelling bee? 23 kids will get out. One will win. All three of them got out. They made it a few rounds. Brady was in the top 5. Really proud of his effort to get there. But nobody made it. They all got out. And they did their very best. And that's the key. They did their very best. There are people who will say, if winning's not your goal, then you're a loser. I get that. But life becomes really unbearable if it's just about winning. Because then you get there and you win. If you made it all about winning, well, then congratulations, you got there. Now what? What do you do tomorrow? What do you do after you win? Can you celebrate the win? Or do you choose the next thing you go after because, well, it's all about achievement. Is it all about achievement? Only if you make it all about achievement. And I got fired up about this because for most of my life, I made it all about achievement. I just wanted to win. That's all that I cared about is winning. I just wanted to win. I wanted to be at the top of the leaderboard. I wanted to make the most money of my peers. I wanted to have the highest rate of climbing the ladder. I just wanted to win. I was obsessed. I never had the nicest car, and that bugged the absolute daylights out of me. It was all about achievement. It was all about winning. And let's be honest, I never won. I was never at the top of the leaderboard. There was always somebody who worked more billable hours than me because they were willing to give more time to their work than their family than I was. And so in that sense, I guess I won. I wasn't at the top of the leaderboard, but I made a choice to be with my family instead of working more hours. Winning, I've come to find out, I've redefined what success is. I've redefined what failure is. I've redefined what winning is. Life is a journey. Life is not a destination. I've completely reframed and reworked the way that I've thought about life. And as I focus on the efforts. And I'm not perfect at this. In fact, I was talking to somebody last week and I asked them a question. And it was a comparison question. And I didn't realize it until I asked them the question. And I said, actually throw that question out because it's really just a comparison question. And she said, Derek, what I know about you is you've made a lot of your life about achievement. That question came from an achievement place. That question came from a destination. Life is a destination place. What if life is a journey? What if life is about doing your best every single day and choosing to do that every single day? So I've redefined winning as being at the top of the leaderboard to showing up and doing my best every single day. Knowing that I will not make the most amount of money of my peers because I choose not to trade time at work for time with my family beyond what's required. I have very fixed boundaries when it comes to when I work and when I don't work. Why? Because I want to win when it comes to me as a human being. I have a responsibility at home. I have a responsibility at church. I have a responsibility to my work. I have a responsibility in a lot of other places. I am not out to win a competition. Life is not a competition. Life is a choice for me to do my best every single day, to be authentic, to be vulnerable, to be courageous. You see, when I rushed through life, trying to compete, achieve, there was no time to be authentic. There was no time to be vulnerable. I didn't create any space for me to be me. All I was creating space was for me to be an achievement. I was making me out to be the sum of all my achievements. And by the way, I never could achieve enough. And so I chose to slow down. I chose to completely rework the way I look at life. My mission is to be authentic. My mission is to be a voice and not an echo. You see, I could go to the piano over here and I could play you the most beautiful thing you ever heard. Not because it's me playing, but because it's a piano, and the piano is an incredible instrument. But if I take that as a recording and then I speed it up just to get done with it faster, I lose the quality of it, I lose the feeling of it, I lose the content of it, I lose the context of it. It doesn't even sound the same. It's this high, tinny pitch. And that's what we do in life when we speed up so fast. God could have spoken the world into existence like that. The entire thing. Forget the 7 days of creation. He could have, in a millisecond, bam, created everything. And he did it. Why? He took his time. He slowed down. He got to the end of each day, and he looked back at what he had created on each day. That's good. What I made today, that was good. Then he started the next morning, and he spoke and he created more things the next day. Whether it was animals or trees or fish in the sea, birds in the sky. And then he stopped for that day, and at the end of the day, he looked back over what he created that day and he said, that was good. Then he got to the end of day 6 of creating, and day 7 he rested. From the very beginning of this earth, God modeled slowing down for us. Even think about the development of a baby in the mother's womb. It takes 9 months. God could have designed that somehow, I don't know how, but somehow in a moment, a child could be created and born. Bam. But God said, no, we're going to take 9 months. We're going to create a process where the baby grows and develops over a period of 9 months. It's about a journey. It's about growth. We've forgotten. I say we. I know people, and this isn't about others. This is about how I used to live my life. I wanted everything now. In fact, my wife has said to me before, several times, and maybe I'll take it as a testament to my growth that she hasn't said it to me recently, but she said to me several times before, when are you going to be content with what you have? When are you going to stop looking for the next thing? We cannot be authentic to who God made us to be when we're just rushing through life. When we rush through life, we manufacture who we are just by the achievements that we do. We don't even take time to notice the achievements. We just rush through them. I truly believe that God made us to slow down. He modeled it for us from the very beginning. I think it's Psalms in the Psalms. He said, "Be still and know that I am God." And here's a very profound thought. You cannot be still and rushing at the same time. Being still requires you to slow down. Being still requires me to slow down. I think it was to Elijah, God said, I'm in the still small voice that comes by. I cannot hear the still small voice when I'm rushing. A rushed life is a manufactured life. To be a voice and not an echo, I must slow down. To be authentic, to be vulnerable, to be courageous, I must choose to not focus on just the achievements of life, but to focus on the journey of life, creating one day at a time around the environment that God's put me in. Think about how God instructed us to speak. Be slow to speak, quick to hear. Be slow to speak. God modeled us for us, and God instructed us so many times throughout Scripture to slow down. My goal for the rest of my life is to live, not that I go slowly, but to be intentionally slower in what I do and not get caught up in the hurry of life. I find it ironic that this is now a 20-minute video because I really slowed down in this one. I wasn't trying to rush anything that I'm creating here. And I'm really passionate around this idea of slowing down because certainly the first 30, maybe the first 33 years of my life, I was just rushing to accomplish, rushing to achieve, and hoping that people would notice. In the last 4 years, especially the last, 6 or 12 months, have really been about slowing down, being much more intentional with who I am, much more intentional about my relationships, much more intentional about being focused about what I'm choosing to do. God made me to be a human being, not a human doing. That distinction is, human being is embracing who we are, being authentic, being vulnerable, looking at our warts and all the things that are wrong with us. There's nothing, I say in that sense, wrong with us, but just being willing to see that we're imperfect. A human doing is focused on the achievement, all that we do. And so I'll invite you to, as I do, slow down. If you want to go fast, if you want to go far, go fast. If you want to go fast, go alone. I knew something didn't sound right there. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. My mission is to elevate people around me, to live in such a way that they hear, "Well done, thou good and faithful servant." That's the idea about going far together. I really don't care how fast we go. What I'm focused on is going far together. Will you come with me? Will you join me on my mission to live a life in such a way that you hear with me when I get to heaven and you get to heaven, "Well done, not thou good and speedy servant, not thou good and thou did it faster than anybody else servant. Well done, thou good and faithful servant." Join me on my mission.